Hi, I'm Loyiso Madinga, and I would put cocaine in my immigrant jam. Why? To keep up with New Yorkers. They walk too fast.
M to the Jesus. This is a family show, Loyiso. Okay, we're back with another beautiful episode. And today feels like the first day of spring in New York City.
Yeah,
it feels
it's
amazing
good.
outside. It's sunny. People
So
are
nice.
ripping their clothes off.
Not so much.
Well, I guess it was just me then.
No. It's like I do this thing in the morning. I look outside the window and I'm like, what is the weather? What's everyone wearing? To kind
Yeah.
of figure out what I should put on my kid. And then it was just a mixed bag. Like, white people, you guys got your shorts out before everybody else.
That's true.
And then black people are super wrapped. So I was like, I don't know what the weather is. I have to check my phone.
And your daughter's like, I don't know why my dad always
the
gives me a
layers.
bubble jacket
Yeah.
and shorts.
She gets so upset.
So I'm guessing maybe you live in Park Slope or something.
I do, actually.
Yeah. Because you looked out your window and you saw black people and white people.
Oh, snap. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was like
And
a
you have a kid,
thing.
so... huh?
Okay, true. Maybe I could afford a kid and Manhattan.
I see Green Avenue. No, I don't know. But we are here. We are, in fact, back. I'm Lucy Pohl, your host, as you probably know if you're listening right now. And it's exciting because today we have an amazing man... which we're going to state right off the top, in case you're confused.
Still
It's a man.
going with it.
This is a man still going with the man thing. Okay, boomer. He's South African. You have seen him on Comedians of the World.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Daily Show. Ever heard of it? Ever heard of it, you losers? And other stuff, Netflix stuff. He's been on tons of stuff. He's so funny. I had him on my live show, Immigrant Jam, recently. We didn't know each other, but I instantly just love this man because he's so funny and what a positive vibe he brings into a room when he walks in. I love that. Welcome to Immigrant Jam, the podcast, Mr. Loyiso
Thank you for having me.
Madinga.
Woo! I'm guessing Michael put on the...
Yeah,
Okay,
Mike,
cool.
you will.
Did I just remind you of your job? Okay, cool. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for doing the podcast, and thank you for, today's a big day in New York because Trump is getting arraigned.
Is it happening?
I think so. It's happening right now as
What
we
does that
speak.
mean? Like what?
It means
I
that
feel like this is pretty drawn out. This
the
has
whole,
been like-
his whole arraignment
this
thing.
everything Trump is just like...
Yeah, Trump is drawn.
Every time he comes up back on TV, I'm like, you guys are still... I feel like you have other things to deal with besides Trump,
Yes.
right? At this point.
I feel like everybody thinks that except a certain group of people.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they want
I feel like, I don't know American politics like in detail,
Yeah.
but I feel like if they just ignored Trump post his presidency, then his followers would just be following some guy. But now with his arrest, they kind of, it's almost like, what's the word when you kill somebody and they become a hero?
A martyr.
A martyr, yeah. He's
Yeah,
almost like
yeah.
it's upping his status. Now it's even cooler to support Trump because he's their little...
he's a badass.
He's a
now.
badass
He's a
now.
He's a real
He's getting his
gangster
jail
now.
time.
Yeah,
He's like a rapper. He's going to drop an album after this jail time.
Yes.
That's what you're doing to him.
Hush money was the case that they gave me.
Hail a killer, but don't push me. That's good.
I think you're right. But, they're already saying that the crowds are not anything really substantial. It's not like January 6th down there.
Fair enough. Oh, wow.
They already said April 4th is not January 6th.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this sounds like the beginning of a Monty
Everything's
Python sketch.
Yeah, I love this
You know?
country. Everything's a great headline.
Yeah,
It's
everything.
like the news isn't enough. We need to sell the news. Half a city burnt, but it's not enough to say that. It's like, yeah, you got to say it. January 6th is not April. It's like a lot. It's like it's like everything's being sold.
It's true, and I feel like that's like the good of America and the bad of
Yeah,
America
yeah,
at
it's a
the same
strength.
time.
It's a strength.
It's a strength and kind of its downfall.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird as fuck. It's so weird. But I heard on the radio this morning that one paper just printed the headline, Queens man arrested.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Also, it sounds very progressive.
Yeah.
It's like a Queen's man. There's like a little play on
Queens identifying man.
just to get the youth reading again.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. But so, how long have you been here?
3 months now.
What?
Yeah, 3 months now.
You've only been in... Why does my voice sound so weird? You've only been in New York for 3 months?
Yeah, I got here in Jan, landed here beginning of Jan. 10th of Jan, I think. 11th of Jan.
Oh.
I landed here. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, I just got here. I mean, like, I've been back and forth in New York for like the past 10 years.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm here.
From South Africa, or did you live somewhere else before?
Yeah, from South Africa.
From where in South
Johannesburg.
Africa? Wow.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah. Johannesburg, which is like, it's like mini New York.
Is it?
It's black New York.
Really?
If New York was black, that would be Johannesburg.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people come and they just like feel comfortable in Johannesburg, except for the crime. But besides that, besides the constant fear of death,
Well,
totally New York.
but that's New York too. The constant fear of getting like shat on by a homeless person.
Yeah, that's like
or-
a slow death by some disease.
Yeah, exactly.
In South Africa, we kill you quickly. We have things to do. Don't hold up our flipping emergency system.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it also has this like sense of freedom that you feel when you're there,
Yeah, it's like
and like
all the
openness.
cultures. Because what it is Johannesburg it's a place that shouldn't exist, other than the fact that they found gold there just over 100 years ago. Otherwise, it's just like this plain. It doesn't even have its own source of water. So we have to get water like from one artificial dam that was built, and then from a landlocked country that has a lot of water, we pump water to Joburg, and it only exists for the mines, the gold mines that were found there. That's why it's called the City of Gold. So it's like everybody's there. So it's like the part of South Africa where everybody moved to, because that's where, that's our economic hub. That's where everybody comes to work. But there's no more gold there, so I don't know why everyone's still there. I'm just like, guys, it's like staying in New York and there's no, if Manhattan burnt down, everyone's like, no, we'll stay. It's like no one.
The nightlife is really good. New York is built on granite. Granite?
Really?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Not
you can say
granite, right?
we
Why
say
are you laughing, Mike?
We sometimes say granite.
Granite's such an easy word to say. I don't know why you're having
For
fun with it.
you, American man.
She extra, you open, like granite.
Granite. I overpronounce stuff. Yeah. But I feel like you feel that energy, because granite is like it
Hard.
glitters. It's like
Yeah.
explosive, right? Like Berlin is built on swampland, and you feel that. It's like,
really?
like the
Is it
energy
also?
pulls you down. And
Yeah,
you
man.
feel,
I landed in Berlin years back. I need to go back there because my friends were like being on and on about Berlin. Hey, you got a party in Berlin, and I landed there, and I landed early in the morning, and no, it was late at night, and sorry,
and it wasn't Berlin, it was Hong Kong. But anyway,
no wonder those Germans were being weird. Mandarin. And the people were cold, and the weather was cold, and it was just dreary, and I just did not like it, man.
yeah, and that was August.
Yeah, it was.
That was in the middle of August.
No, it was.
It's
December.
rough.
It was December.
I was just there, and it's very a weird place. It really is.
I feel
The
like I need
sky
to give them
hangs
another
low
chance. Because when they come to South Africa, the Germans are just like the happiest people. I don't know what it is. Maybe
because they're in South Africa.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because they just come alive. They love their place. They love it so much, and I forget the word now, that there's this trend, right, in Cape Town especially, where lonely German women, successful, can't find a man in Germany, so they come to South Africa and they love it, and they love the chocolate. And the South African men who can't find jobs in the townships have a word for this thing where they're saying they're waiting for their German woman who will take them to Germany, and they just live basically husband lives because, there's no work in South Africa, but there's also no men in Germany. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to find a job. The Germans are coming.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
lonely, successful German women
Yeah.
who can't find a man.
and I fucked up. I
I'll
married
be
an
right
American.
back. I'm going to South Africa.
Yeah. You can pick us up for free.
Holy
I
shit.
fucked up, and I married an American, so I have to I have to pay and work while I'm here. This is bullshit.
But it's beautiful, yes, Johannesburg?
No,
It's not beautiful?
the city.
Yeah.
No. It's it's beautiful, and like it's the biggest man-made forest, so it's like green. It's a very green city, but it's not I wouldn't say Cape Town is hella beautiful.
But you grew up.
No, I moved to
cannot
Joburg.
speak. You grew up rurally. You said.
Yeah, I grew up rural, so I was like,
which means
in a southern
like
province.
in a village.
Yeah, in a village,
Really?
proper like village.
What does that? What does that mean? A village? Because I think village
'cause
means
you
something
got-
else everywhere.
Yeah. In America, I see like a nice town, and people are like, "Yeah, this village." I'm like,
In America, a village is like a strip mall.
you have electricity.
Yeah, and a Burger King. Exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
No, I grew up like no electricity, no running water, cows, sheep, like rural. Like
No electricity.
no, until 2015. 2015, my village got electricity, so we grew up on a generator that we would switch on in the morning to get dressed and bathed and ready for the day, and then switch it off when everyone goes off to work and school. And when we come back, when the sun sets, we switch it back on. We can watch TV, chill, and then whenever we go to bed, you switch the generator back off.
So now, do you just use a shitload of electricity, or
I'm
is
very
it still in your
conscious.
bones?
No, I'm very I'm
Because
turning
I
lights
feel like it
off.
goes either way, right?
I'm turning lights off everywhere I go. I like even just like when I flush, I don't just like flush and walk away. If it's a pee, I like half flush it because it's just pee. So I give it the like, close it up. That's enough water for getting rid of the pee. Yeah, like, I'm super conscious of it.
But Germans, a lot of Germans collect pee. They don't flush if it's just
I
pee.
feel like you can't just say that without an
No,
explanation.
they also collect
The Germans collect pee, so please do not flush your pee. Send it to Germany. They could use some. What do
No,
you
they
mean?
leave it there because of the environment, like to
if
be
it's
eco-friendly.
yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown,
Yes,
flush
exactly.
it
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
fair.
Yeah. You're right. There's a whole saying about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not called collecting urine. I just want you to know
It's
you
like
said that
they
wrong.
let it
Why do you?
sit.
Why it
They are
is? They collect it there.
You gotta watch your words.
No, they don't collect it in general, but they collect it there. It's a collection of
We're
pee.
just flipping saying weird things about Germans. Germans are weird on their own. We don't have to weird
They're
them
weird
up.
enough.
We
What's
don't-
weird about South Africans? What do you think is weird? Or when do you go
What,
back?
Weird.
They
to
want to
you?
live with Germans who collect piss. That's the weirdest part about them.
We have extra piss to give. It's a mutual relationship.
That's why the German women are like, they have no running water, so they collect
This
pee
explains
as
the big
well.
penises. So much urine. It's like, that's not biology.
Oh, that's how it works.
What is weird about South Africans?
No, I mean, I don't know. Or what do you, when you're there, is there something where you're like, fuck, man.
Maybe I'll feel it for the first time because I'll be here for a while. I've never been away from home for longer than like 3 months.
Wow.
So maybe I'll feel it this time when I go back and I'm like, oh man, this. Well, I guess the high crime. Like we live under such. It's high crime, and so we live with that expectation.
Yeah.
Like it's normal.
Like,
Like
you think you're going to get
when-
stabbed while you go to the
No, we
grocery
don't.
store.
Yeah, it's Cape Town. Cape Town stabs. Joburg, we just want your stuff. Just give us
okay,
your
you get
stuff.
robbed.
Yeah, robbed.
Have you been robbed a lot?
Mugged once, but it was like a non-event.
Yeah,
See,
I've been mugged
that's
here.
weird. Like, just go. Yeah, they just stuck me up and robbed me. But that's
with a gun?
That's Tuesday. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Not get mugged on Tuesday?
You always take extra stuff.
No,
When
it's
you-
like
so
if I'm
you know
driving
you're
a
gonna get
car
mugged.
and you stop at the traffic light, which we call the robots, and as a driver, I'm watching all my mirrors in case someone's creeping up to hijack me.
Right.
But like as a normal thing, I'm not like panicking. I'm just like, all right, no one behind me.
Yeah.
The car's in front of me. No one's jumping out. Okay, cool. Let's just keep watching and drive off. So I guess that's weird because
Yeah.
no one. I was driving with a friend earlier today, and he was like, he's been a few times. He's married to a South African, and he's like, it's just nice to not have to worry about being hijacked. It's like, that's like a big thing in South Africa, hijackings.
But do you feel yourself doing it here too?
No, I think I relax.
You relax here?
Quickly. Yeah, I relax quickly. I've traveled to enough safe places, like places where people like in South Africa. It's very the race is still there, like
Yeah.
tense post apartheid, and so I notice white people tensing up when I'm around. It's like you just notice the race thing. It's like, oh, I'm a black person in this white space, so and you can see white people being a certain way in a black space, and then you get to like Montreal, Canada, and like you turn a corner and with a white woman at the same time, and she doesn't freak out. She just walks around you. And for me, it's like in that moment, I'm trying to not look scary to her. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm good. And she's like, yeah, whatever, man. We're just walking in the streets. And I'm like, oh, we're just people here walking in the streets. That's kind of weird. So I guess that's strange as South African to have to live like that as like your norm.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's a little strange.
In your own country, too.
In your own country,
Yeah. To feel almost more at ease somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is strange.
That is actually strange. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad.
Thanks.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Thanks.
That's great.
To my
Thanks
sad
a lot.
country.
Yeah, thanks for that.
But we're also like the friendliest people. That's a strange thing. It's like we're wary of each other until we've, like, if you're a stranger, you get treated, if you're like a foreigner, you get treated well immediately. If you're a local, then it's like, what kind of local? Are you a stab me local? Are you a racisty local? And then once we feel each other out, then it's like, oh, okay, we're good. We're good with each other. And then we go back to like being super friendly people.
Did you dream of coming to New York as a kid and stuff? Or like America? Was that a big dream?
Not necessarily the country, more like the entertainment industry. I
So
think.
you knew you wanted to be an entertainer.
Yeah. I think I always wanted, like, we got a lot of your sitcoms. A lot of them were like in New York, strangely enough. So I think New York was always like
Right.
like Martin was like a huge one for me. Martin he made me want to be a comic and a performer and an actor. He's amazing.
I remember watching Martin. I was like 12, and one of the girls was wearing these pants that was like, they were denim and they were cut into these like strips, just like hanging off her.
Oh yeah?
And I was like, I need those. And then I went and like cut my pants
And it doesn't
up
look
into
the same, does it?
No. It didn't work at all. I was like,
No.
why don't I look like the cool girl on Martin? Oh,
Did you have an
man.
accent when you got here?
No, not really. I think maybe for like a month. I was so young,
Yeah.
you know, that it goes away so fast.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
I guess my
yeah.
kids one's gonna go, yeah.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3, so that's
3.
definitely gonna go.
Ah, definitely.
disappear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely
she's already
gonna
saying
go.
New York City and not city.
She'll be like, Dad, give me some coffee.
Yeah. Why are you talking weird?
But so you wanted to be an entertainer. You knew that because you were watching the sitcoms. And so it was kind of like, okay, that's where I need to go if I really want to make it, sort of a thing.
Kind of, it was like, I guess it was just the only place I saw it happening. The variety of sitcoms here, it just seemed like, oh, if you want to do it, you go to America. If you want to be a football player, you go to England, and that's where you play, the best football. Yeah, so it was that, not as much as like, not so much like I want to be in America.
Mm-hmm. And New York isn't America. That's the thing about New York, right? New York is so different than the rest of
I
America.
guess.
Growing up here, I didn't discover or really get to know America till I was like in my 20s, even though
yeah?
I grew up here. But then when you go to like Wyoming and places like that, I feel like then you're like, oh, this is America.
America.
Like
That's the thing, right? You kind of have to get on the road at some point, and that kind of scares me.
in what way?
In being on the road in America, just like
But like what
real
scares
America,
you?
because like I guess everything gets like, if you don't live in a place, you don't know the nuance of the thing. You kind of paintbrush. So I go Midwest, oh, racists, and the South, oh, okay, racist. So I'm like, oh, on the road one day I'll be in racist town doing jokes, and I do a lot of race stuff, as you noticed at your show. Then the idea of going into like the Midwest or whatever, I don't know where the racism headquarters are here.
I mean, racism headquarters? Wow.
I don't
would
know where they
say,
are.
where would you say racism headquarters are?
I
Alabama?
still like touring the country, so I'm gonna.
I love everywhere, but not just racism. I think it's just like whatever it is. Like you guys are, it's like this weird like liberal versus conservative thing also. So like it might be a race thing, but it might be like, why are you coming here with your liberal ideas?
Well,
Whatever.
I don't think they would come see you. No, because they go to see their
you too.
no, they go to see their
like at a club. Oh, I mean,
but they go to see the people that they like and that
Yeah.
like pander to them. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But on a lineup
and-
show,
No, the country's so divided. I feel like then they have their clubs where they go because it's so divided. You really have these comics that are like the alt-right comics and people
I have
don't want
never
to
heard
see.
alt-right comedy.
You've never heard it?
Never.
I can give you a list after we're done here.
I would love. I'd probably just sit there going, no.
No, you sit there going like, ugh, really?
A lot of them end up as pundits because there is no real, like, it's just not a big enough
Scene.
It's not
Yeah.
a big enough audience for it specifically. They end up doing very specific shows and very specific clubs.
When they're in that space, they can go in on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like because the country's so divided, most of the time you don't have people who go to shows where they think they're gonna be sitting there listening to the liptards.
Yeah.
You know, like unless they
That's a
want to
great
come
word,
to
though.
like
I won't lie.
heckle. It is a good
It's
word.
such a good word.
It is a good word. I think American English is so good at coming up with like funny made up verbs
Yeah,
and funny
it's
made up
great.
words that
Yeah.
like fit every they have the best
It's loose.
made up words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American English is nice and loose.
Yeah. So that does scare you though to tour the country and stuff like that.
When you're in South Africa, then I kind of know like this is the joke, but this is how I would say the joke here.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't go well, I can still bring them back because I kind of know them.
Right.
Like it's more like not knowing, so I can't even.
Of course.
I don't want to interrupt, but I've been on the road for about 15 years in
Yeah.
America, and I give them way more credit. Rural America. Funny first. If it's funny, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
Right.
comics that complain, oh, they just didn't like me because of this. It just wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny, right?
Yeah, I think it's a more common
It's
thing.
more
that-
like real people that you meet out
yeah,
there.
hardworking people.
Okay.
Right.
I love that.
The
Those
middle
are the
of
best
America
people.
are the
Yeah.
some of the
That
kindest,
also don't have
hardworking people when it comes to
electricity.
comedy.
Yeah. Those are always like lovely, appreciative audiences.
Right. So what's your like experience? How do you see as someone who's just been here for 3 months, how do you see the city and life here? What do you think about
Do you know
what it's like here?
The thought that I had recently is that New York seems like the place people come to, and I think it's most cities, on the assumption that they're going to live the best version of that city. Even though that's actually for the few. Like
Even though that is never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen for most people. It's like people move to the city and they see like the whole city life. Oh, high-rise building, penthouse, this party, and it's like, oh no.
It's a dollar and a dream.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
like you're going to live a shitty life trying to make it there, and maybe you will, but that life is like literally for just the rich. Cities
you've
are for
only-
the rich.
You've
Everybody
only
else
been
is
here
just
for
working.
3 months and you're already that jaded.
Not jaded, but it's like
kidding.
I'll still be one of them. I'm talking for the others. But I just love how everybody's here. And there's life for everyone here. It's like, it doesn't feel like, as much as I said that. I think that's a general city thing. But I feel like here it's like, people just have their place that they fully live their lives in. And it's also cool to be in other spaces and experience each other's cultures and stuff. So it's like, I can just be, I don't know, those different groups. I can just be a Jamaican in the Jamaican area and fully live my life.
Right.
But I can also like go to this area and experience that, and go this and experience that. And the spaces don't feel divided
Right.
culturally as much as they are, I guess, economically, which is like, that is what it is.
Yeah. And that's unique to this city because almost everywhere else you go, the spaces, as you say, are
culturally,
divided.
Yeah, very culturally divided.
And it feels
Yeah.
like either the foreigners are on the like fringes of the culture or
Yeah.
they're just like very separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also like how New Yorkers are just weirdly the nicest, most aggressive people you ever meet. Just like I don't know how you manage that in like one encounter.
Yes.
Like I'll never forget being lost as I always am in, the train system. And I'm holding my map like every tourist. Just, I got my MTA map. And some guy just looks at me. It's just me and him. And he's like, where you trying to go? I was like, well, just ask somebody. Why are you standing there looking at a stupid map? You're going to catch. I was just like, he's being nice, but also being a dick. He is like the meanest, nicest person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And he was upset that I didn't ask for help. I've never experienced that anywhere. Like,
I totally agree. I totally get it. I feel like that when I see people lost. I'm like, why? And then I say something. I'm like, where are you trying to go? Or like, can I help you? Because like, what are you doing?
can I fucking help you?
Yeah.
That's what we hear. Can I fucking help you?
Yeah, but even if we say fucking, it's just a word. It's just a sentence filler. I've had multiple men in my life that I've been with that have gotten so offended because they weren't from New York. Because I'm like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You know. But what I really mean is, hey, my love, what are you doing over there?
New York love hurts. You're so aggressive.
What's the saying? New Yorkers are nice, but they're not kind.
Is it?
And then West Coast, like LA, they're kind, but they're not nice.
Right.
So they'll be nice to you in New York, but they're not going to be nice about it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, where the fuck you need to go?
Yeah,
like, they're being nice, but they're not being kind about it.
Yeah.
You go on the West Coast, they're going to be like, oh, he's lost.
I did not like
exactly.
LA.
No, I can't stand that.
I really
either.
thought I would be like this happy. I just did not like it, man.
What didn't you like about it?
I like places that feel intentional, like physically. Like I like New York, like the buildings feel like people built to stay here and settle here. Like the buildings stretch 100 and something years or whatever. You know, they built stone, and then you get to LA, and it feels like at some point, it sounds stupid, but it feels like someone's gonna go cut, and then the buildings will be folded up into boxes. Nothing feels like it's there to stay. It's like at some point everyone's gonna pack up and just leave the place, and then you feel in the people everything's very like fleeting and transactionary, and it's like,
so
you know,
true.
your waiter has perfect white teeth because one day he'll be an actor and he'll come, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I can get that for you. And it's like, you're not even seeing. Can you see me?
Yeah.
This is like this weird.
But do you think
strange,
that,
man.
I was talking to my friend about this yesterday, do you feel like relationships in general are different here in America? Like even friendships, I'm not talking about dating even so much, but I mean, I guess you've only been here for 3 months, so it's a little early to tell, but I feel like Americans treat relationships very differently than, I've never been to South Africa, but definitely than Europeans.
Like in New York, it feels more genuine in the on a transactionary level. Like people pass their business card in a genuine, like, yes, I'd like to work with you kind of a way, rather than just like, have my business card just in case there's a way for you to help me make money in the future. It feels like even in that business cardy way, it was like, oh, you're the kind of person I would like to work with on a level in some way. Whereas in South Africa, it's like, we'll genuinely be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, business is almost second.
But also, isn't it more, because I feel like in Germany or other countries in Europe, it's like if you're friends with someone, it's not like you're like best friends and tell each other you love each other so much as a friend, and then 3 months later you don't hear, like you're just done.
No,
like that doesn't really happen.
No, and that's weird.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like more of a thing here. People meet you and they're like, "Oh my God, I love you so much," and then you never hang out with them again.
Yeah, actually, no. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Like I met people, I'm like, "Oh wow, I met friends."
Yeah,
and then they literally didn't even answer my phone.
Yes, exactly. And you're like,
"Call me. Here's my card, and I'm gonna." They were like a real estate agent. Yeah, I'm gonna find you a place. I'm gonna find you like the best place, and and I was like, "Hey, well, it was great meeting you." I didn't even ask about the place. I was just like, it's just like genuinely great to meet you. I had a good laugh. It was fun last night. Nothing. And I was like, we spent like hours with drinking. You told me about your husband, how much your fucking expensive ass ring costs. I'm like, I know so much about you that I shouldn't know if you're not going to talk to me the next day. Wow, they ghosted me on a not even like, oh wow.
Yeah, I think that's very different here. You know, like, or people who are like, oh my God, she's my BFF. And then they like know nothing about each other, you know, or like never hang out. Like relationships are treated very differently here, I feel like, than in the rest of the world. Like if I have a friend, like I'm kind of like, okay, now you're my friend forever.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll never leave.
I don't take. We don't.
No, but you know what I mean.
Take friendship lightly. No,
yeah,
it's
like friendship also is like a commitment.
It's a commitment.
Friend.
It's
and like loyalty.
Yeah,
and,
it's a friendship.
And, yeah, it's a friendship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said you would put cocaine in your immigrant jam. I just didn't want to let that go.
Okay. Just say something. I don't know. What was I going to say? A fruit
Are
from South
you
Africa?
a
And then
big
it's like, yeah,
cokehead?
we have a fruit called tengele. And it's like,
Do
like
you?
no,
Oh,
I
okay.
just randomly clicked.
All right.
But it works every time. Americans get very excited. But yeah, it's
So
full
wait,
on.
what language did you grow up speaking in South Africa?
It's Xhosa and English.
What's it called?
It's Xhosa.
Okay, I'm not going to repeat it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You could. It's one word.
No, but
Xhosa.
I can't click.
Xhosa.
Kosa, Osa,
There, exactly.
Osa.
Exactly. There, you said it. You know more closer than most white people in South Africa. And then you learn Afrikaans at school. And this is Zulu because I grew up also in KZN, which is predominantly Zulu people. And then move to Joburg, and then everybody's there. So you have to learn. Most people speak Zulu as like a language that we all kind of, if I see a black person, I'll just speak Zulu to them. And they'll probably speak Zulu back. Or Setswana. A lot of people speak Setswana and then they'll speak Setswana back. So I had to learn to I'm not very confident, but if I have to, I will.
Do you think that I was just in Belgium, right? And I'd never been to Belgium before, but it's close to Germany and, and I've been to the Netherlands many times. But I felt like they were like, a lot of the people I met there were like more open and more worldly. And I kind of wondered if that is because they are all at least bilingual because they have to speak Flemish and most of them speak French as well.
And then English
and
for
then
the
English,
rest.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they at least have to be bilingual. Do you feel like growing up, I mean, in your case, I guess bilingual, trilingual,
Yeah, a bunch.
did something to the way like you see the world, or also your like comedy brain? Like the fact that you zoom out.
Yeah, you definitely listen. You listen more. Like I don't
Just wait. Repeat that. No, I'm kidding.
You don't just get to like a place like New York and just say, "Oh, people speak English." Like when I get to New York, I'll go, "Okay, cool. This is a Puerto Rican accent." Oh, okay. Like I picked up your accent. I was like, "This sounds like
What's
it's
my
very
accent?
very New York.
Okay.
Like it's New York.
It's trying
like
really
we say
hard.
New York, you guys say New.
Like
New
this girl's
New York.
trying really hard.
I'm like, go back to Germany.
She's
Jeez.
hiding
Back to where
something.
you're from.
This
so you
is so
definitely
true,
listen
though.
to people.
This is so
way
true.
more. Yeah.
I agree. I pick up accents all the time,
Yeah.
or I can like hear the different rhythms and
Yeah.
how people speak.
Yeah.
And
Do you change character in your different languages?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
you
that's-
too.
it's
right?
amazing, yeah. Different
What's your
language.
different characters?
So this is English.
Yeah, okay. I got
I
that.
don't know if you experienced. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
experiencing it for a little while.
Yeah, the cokehead
And
is the
then-
English character.
And it's closer because I grew up rural, and not like a lot of my friends are like townshipy, like city closer people. So they're like more like children, slangy with their closer. Where mine is very formal. So I'm very formal when I speak. It's because I'm more considered in what I'm saying, and like I speak slower, and so it's strange. Like when I speak to my friends, I think I just sound like an old man to them. Like their words that I remember a friend of mine in high school, and I said, "Upumhlobo wakho," and which means like, "Where's your friend?" But umhlobo is like, it's like your friend. It's like saying, "Where's your friend?" Where someone might say, "Hey, where's your pal?" or "Where's your buddy?"
Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Why are you speaking like an old man? Just say, yeah, chomi yako." Chomi would be the word like people say as like your friend. So my close is very formal.
Why
Like it's
do you
hella
think that
formal.
is?
I think it's also because
Were your parents very concerned with education? And
yeah. My dad loves education, but also he loves language. So he doesn't learn a language, he learns a language. So when he speaks English, his accent is as close to British English as possible. When he speaks Sesotho, Sotho people will be like, "But you're not Sotho. Why do you sound like you're from Lesotho, Sotho?" So we grew up with language being a very formal
and
thing.
like something to take pride in.
Yeah.
And to show your sort of also stand like your
it's like almost like a standard of
Yeah.
speaking. Almost like it's like if you're gonna learn it, I think that's what gives me anxiety about learning other languages, because it's like, no, you have to speak it well. You have to really like If you're gonna learn French, you parle français. Don't just I parle français. It's like no, je parle français.
Yeah.
So then it's harder to learn a language because it's like you're going for perfection instead of like
Right.
just talk and you'll get better at it. Yeah, but you definitely do change characters when you.
What's your Zulu character?
Very. 'Cause I always find Zulu so aggressive, and it's like as a male Zulu sounds aggressive.
Oh wow.
Female woman speaking Zulu sounds sweet and lovely, like ngishilo ukuthi ngizombona mina ntambama, and it's like it sounds so nice and calm. And then a Zulu man like ngishilo ngisho ngizombona ntambama mina ngishilo wahamba ugcwala indawo nje, and it's so I become more aggressive when I'm speaking Zulu, and I'm just like I should maybe like meet more calm Zulu men. Rare. So yeah, different languages, different personalities.
Did you start comedy in English or did you start it in Xhosa?
I don't do Xhosa comedy.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's because also it comes from, I think more funny. I used humor in my English world, especially being like one of like 2 black children in a school class. So it's kind
you
of
were
like
one of 2 black kids in your class?
That's how separate. Like South Africa is super segregated. I was like maybe like within the first 5 years of schools being integrated was when I started school. So I was like one of the early kids who went to white schools. And so humor I learned to use there because it was like a survival thing.
Yeah, like a coping.
Yeah, coping thing. Whereas back home I wasn't coping.
Right.
So my friends were funny. So I never developed the need to be funny when speaking is close. Well, that's how I reason it. When I look back, I'm like, I've never felt the need to be funny. I've always been like to sit back and listen to people being funny and just have a good laugh. Whereas in a more mixed setting, then I'll take that, that part in
that character
on. It's like, cool, I'll be the funny guy. I'll alleviate this tense mixed race situation.
Right.
Everyone's being weird about their races currently. Let's have a laugh.
Do you have is there a part of you that feels like you have to keep your South African culture alive in your daughter or for your daughter? Or is there a part of you that's like worried that your daughter's going to be American and not have any of your culture?
Yeah, but I also I don't have certain parts of my culture. Right. And I also, back home, there's also parts of my culture that I have that other people don't have. I go,
right.
oh, okay, culture is something that you also get to choose what you pass on. So I have things that I choose to pass on to my kid, and then that will be her.
Like what would that be, for example?
So she doesn't call me dad or daddy, or she does because she's a kid and she hears that a lot. But I'll also insist on her calling me Dada, which is how you would say it in Xhosa. And also to end her yeses and nos with, ewe Dada or hi Dada, not just to go yes or no, because that's you don't just say no to an adult. You just go no ma'am, yes ma'am, basically kind of thing. Okay. When you take with 2 hands. When you give with 2 hands. You don't take with 1 hand, and never your left hand.
Why?
That's rude.
It's rude. Why is it rude?
I don't know. I guess the old world hated everywhere in the world.
Maybe because you wipe your butt with your left hand.
No, that's Muslims. It is. It's a Muslim thing. Wipe with.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, exactly.
And so you don't. Yeah, the old world hated lefties. You know that, right?
No.
Everywhere in the world, for some reason. Even
yes,
in Europe.
I know that they thought they were like
weirdos.
Weirdo freaks. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that there was just a universal truth is everybody hated left-handed people for some time. And or you do this.
You stick. Oh, you put
put this hand to show that you're. Because sometimes it's like if I'm leaning over, it's hard to full on 2 hands.
So you put your hand out
on another hand, and that's how you receive. So those kind of things, which then she wouldn't. It also help her when she is in that setting. She wouldn't then stand out or like or offend people, basically.
Right, when she's
with
in
certain cultural things that she can just get used to and just have it as ingrained in her. I speak it closer to her. She understands, but she doesn't speak it because she doesn't hear it in its conversational.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's just me.
Right.
So she doesn't, but she'll understand. Or sometimes I'll try to teach her to say something, and she goes, "We're in New York City now. We speak English," and I'm like, "That's racist. That is definitely racist."
Your 3-year-old daughter's like, "Go back to where you came from, Daddy." Do you even have a green card?
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't yet. They have not sent that to me yet. Yeah, so it's like those things. Like I'll pass on what I pass on to her. Yeah, and that'll be her.
But it's interesting talking to you because most of the time on the podcast, I have people that either are immigrants who came here as an adult and, you know, and are sort of living here but without a family or yet. Or I have first generation immigrants that grew up with immigrant parents, you know, so we talk about like what did they kind of like, there's kind of, you know, two ways that it goes. Either the parents, you know, double down on the culture because they're outside of their country and they really want to like keep it and they kind of isolate themselves and only are around people from their country or who speak their language. And there's the other side where like they take on the American culture completely and kind of like, you know, shun.
Please learn the culture. Fit in. Don't be like us,
exactly.
my child. Yeah.
And then they kind of look down on their old culture, like, oh, nothing works in my country and it's chaos and I hate it. And, you know, and big American flags and whatever, and Applebee's and, you know, things like that. So it's interesting to talk to you because you have a young daughter too, and you just got here, and I guess.
And I realize I'm the immigrant parent.
You are,
like,
exactly.
It's so
You're the immigrant parent.
I always heard about them like I'm like, oh, that's me now.
Yeah, that's you.
I'm that immigrant parent trying, like saying weird things to her that don't fit into the rest of her.
And you'll be the dad who has a weird accent.
Weird accent for her.
And they'll go, "Where's your dad from?" And stuff. And so I guess it's interesting to hear like what choices you have to make to kind of think about like, okay, what do I pass on and what, you know?
Yeah, but my wife is also, it's like my wife is Hawaiian. So I think she'll hopefully grow up more just culturally aware rather than...
Oh my God. Your daughter one day is going to be like, "You're Hawaiian and you're South African. Why the fuck do we live here? What are you doing?"
It's actually so true. It's a middle ground. It's a middle ground. It's weird that where me and my partner realized we were born literally in the furthest points in the world from each other.
Really?
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Honolulu and Durban are the furthest points from each other.
That's so cool.
And then now we have a kid in the middle, which is New York. But yeah, hopefully she'll grow up like being aware of like, oh, people are different, you know, and so she won't feel like dad's weird and then the rest of the world is normal,
right?
You know, but it's very like I'm aware that like she needs. I don't know. It's like you kind of aware of things like I take care of her hair, which like some people will go, "Oh, dad does her hair." I'm like, yeah, I want her to grow up loving her hair because I know black girls and the culture and the world can make you feel weird about your natural hair. So if she learns how to take care of it and she feels beautiful in it, then she'll, you know, it'll be easier for her to grow in that. So like being aware of those kind of things and, you know, making sure that I've also got like black friends. I have to always find them. But it's like black people around her. So she sees, like, oh, this is black people. And okay, cool. And then, oh, this is my Asian Hawaiian family and what that is. And then, oh, this is white people. And then she can just grow up with a more balanced kind of like view of everybody rather than just like me being, if she grows up and hates me, then she just hates black people. You know, that could, which can totally happen. She can go, you know, I'm gonna stick to the Asian side of my family. It's weird, but you also can't control it because, you know, I don't see her most of the day because she's out.
But I think that New York is, you know, the
great place
for that. Like growing up here, I really took it for granted, and it took me leaving and like trying to live in Germany, for example, to realize. Like,
you tried?
Oh my God. I did. I tried when I was 18. I tried to live there for a while because I was kind of like, am I German? You know, I always grew up like I had some German friends, and my parents. My dad never really worked here, so we were very close to Germany still always, and it was always fun to go. There was more freedom for like teenagers there than here, you know, and all that stuff. And so I kind of thought like, oh, maybe I want to live there. And then when I got there and I went to acting school there, and the class was 10 people, it was 11 people in total, so 10 other people. And I was like, oh my God, all these people are like just German. And I was like, whoa, I had not experienced that. I also went to an international school, but like in New York, you're never around. Like,
just anybody.
Yeah, like people are half this or
Unless
half that.
you're
Or,
Hasidic.
yeah, but even they, have their story, their background story, where they came from. I feel like it's just such a like collective consciousness here that everybody's from everywhere, and you've met somebody from every country in the world probably at least once. And you're not intimidated or weirded out that somebody has an accent in a store, or maybe that you have to listen a little harder because you can't understand what they're saying. You're more used to that. Your ears more used to that, and all of that. And so, I think like I had a culture shock leaving New York after, when I was 18, because I was like, oh shit, this
you take
is
culture for granted.
Yeah.
I think, it's very easy to take culture for granted because it's just something you can't see a painting when you're in it.
Right.
And then you realize when you leave, like, oh, we do that. I didn't know that other people don't. Oh, you guys, okay, that's
right.
That's something I don't know if I can live without.
Exactly. Well, that's
like
the thing about New York.
With the greeting thing in New York, my gosh, that's an adjustment. Because in Africa we greet. Greeting is a thing. You don't just talk to anyone. If I can't just walk up to you and go, "Where's the train station?" The person will look at you like you spat in their face.
Oh.
Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm wondering if you can help me to locate the train station. New York is different. People will say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, how you doing?
And
but they don't want an answer.
They don't want to know the answer to
that
question.
Do not answer. What you can do.
Oh my gosh.
What you can do is say how you doing back.
Yes.
That's it. That's the greeting.
Yes. How you doing?
How you doing?
And then you launch into. So stupid me. At place, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? And then they just look at you like.
They're like, what the fuck?
So you gonna pay for that or what? And I'm just like, this rude fuck asked me a question and then like was upset that I answered it. So it's those, but I miss it. I miss, because our greetings are genuine. They come from like this. Like in Zulu, when you say sawubona, it literally means I see you.
Wow.
And it's not even just I see you. Sawubona is plural. We see you. Because you always walk, you don't walk alone. You walk with your family and your ancestors. So you greet people and you acknowledge them and their ancestors. And a lot of the time with respect, if you're talking with someone like older or just like someone new, you would talk to them in the plural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
do that in German too.
So we had that first the days. But you do speak to people in the plural. You ask, how are you all, basically?
You plural.
Yeah, how are your people, basically?
Yeah.
So you take it for granted when you're doing it because that's just how you greet. And then you come somewhere where greeting is just like barely a thing. And you're like, oh, I miss genuinely asking people how they were. And they would genuinely tell me how they were.
Yeah.
So I get it. Yeah. You think you're German, but you're like, oh, but am I German?
Yeah, exactly.
But am I German? Yeah.
I actually love that form of greeting here. I love that, like, you're just like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Okay. All right. I never wanted to know the answer.
Hence the cocaine.
Exactly.
I gotta speed it up.
Okay, so I always ask my guests if they grew up with any cool like proverbs or sayings. I found one that I like from South Africa. When two elephants meet on a narrow bridge, they cannot go anywhere until one of them lies down.
That is one of the most made-up sounding proverbs I've ever heard.
Sometimes people need to give way and help others succeed.
No, never heard that.
Never heard that?
No.
Okay.
Until one lies down. That doesn't even physically make sense. What if I lie down in the way?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know,
that's true.
No.
Did you grow up with any cool ones that you can think of?
This one doesn't translate well.
Great.
But usana olungakhali lufele embelekweni, which means a baby that does not cry dies on its mother's back. That's what it translates to. But basically, because babies get carried on mother's back.
Yeah.
But if the baby doesn't cry, the mom doesn't know the baby's hungry.
Ah.
So if you don't speak up and ask for what you need, you will never get what you need because you didn't speak up and ask. So just ask is basically,
but babies can't even understand that when you tell them that. Just ask, you stupid little baby.
We have great proverbs for babies.
You know how many babies die in
them.
South Africa because they just don't ask? I mean, really, it's
These
pretty bad.
non-speaking babies. The worst.
These South African babies that just don't ask for
If I had to
anything.
throw away one more quiet baby.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, people. You
Snap.
see? Okay. Louis, so we have to play a little game that we like to call the poll questionnaire.
I know nothing about Polish people.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Okay, cool.
Because
Let's
this has nothing to do with Polish
Okay.
people. Okay. If you were the president of the United States of America, what American food would you ban?
Something pops. What are they?
Pop-Tarts?
Pop. Jesus Christ.
You hate Pop-Tarts? Fuck, I love Pop-Tarts.
I can't believe they give that to children.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
As like it's one thing to if a Pop Tarts was just like a treat, but maybe it's the movies have made it seem like that's like a meal you could have. Like,
it is. America's so
Oh,
fucked
no,
up.
that's-
No, the Pop-Tarts.
no, it's gotta
true.
go.
Okay.
That can't be a meal.
I do like Pop-Tarts a lot.
No, it's literally sugar.
I mean, I don't buy them, but I like them.
no,
Yeah.
it's gotta
Okay.
go.
Pop-Tarts have to
As
go.
your president, it's gotta go.
Okay. If you could deport one American person, who would you deport?
Jesus, this is how to do this without being racist. If I could deport one, I don't know. I wouldn't. I think Americans. Your thing is that everybody's here. Don't want to start this thing of like we'll solve things by getting rid of anybody. It's like no. You'll solve things by keeping everyone.
I love that
this
you're
is your
like,
thing.
you're not going
You're not
anywhere.
getting
you
anywhere.
fuck.
Yeah.
You stay
You're
in
gonna-
this
you're gonna-
shithole.
exactly.
If we're here, you're here.
Exactly.
I love
You
that.
gotta
That's
stay.
great. That's
It's the
actually
point
the
of
best
it.
answer that I've ever heard to that question. If
Loyiso 2029.
if you could add one face to Mount Rushmore, whose face would you add?
Mount Rushmore.
It's the mountain with the faces.
Just a generic blackface.
Okay, just like
Not a person in blackface, but like the most
some dude.
middle of the lane black person. Could just a androgynous, just black. We just need a black face
Okay.
on there.
A black face.
Just a yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say Michael Jackson, but you'd have to choose which year to make it look like. But
Yeah, you would have to
you
choose
have to
a year.
choose a time. And it's like, if you get the nose wrong, I guess you could keep chipping away until it's until you get to 90s Michael.
Nice.
But yeah, just a black person needed on Mount Rushmore.
Okay. If you had to make up a catchphrase for the United States of America, what would it be?
Ooh, a catchphrase for all of America. It's so diverse here, man. America. We are, even though we're not yet, but we'll say we are.
That's great.
That's what I think. America is, you guys are adamant that you're a lot of things that you aren't yet, but I like that you're trying.
This is so
Yeah,
true. I love that. Okay, great. What's the most South African thing you've ever done?
The most South African thing. I was in Thailand. It's so weird. I was in Thailand. I was sitting on the floor with my legs in front of me, as opposed to behind me, which is more comfortable. And a person walked over them. And culturally, you don't walk over somebody's legs, especially someone of the opposite sex. And a woman walked over, they were just passing by.
Uh-huh.
And the thought in my head, in Xhosa, in the most rural voice I've ever heard in my own head, was, this woman just jumped over my leg. And I was angry, and I was like, "What the? Who the hell was that?" She was just, we were in Thailand. Calm the fuck down. So yeah, that was like a knee-jerk weird thing that just happened in the middle of nowhere.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
last question. Very important. I want you to answer this as genuinely as possible. Loyiso Madinga, do you know how I can meet David Hasselhoff?
I might know someone.
Okay.
I might know someone. I did a press junket, and I interviewed the cast of the last one.
Okay.
So if they remember me, if Zac Efron remembers me, Zac, remember South African interviewed you? He might. You're only 3 degrees of separation
Nice.
from
Yes.
the David Hasselhoff.
I knew today
if
was
Zach
the day.
remembers me after a day of 100 interviews.
All right. Well, tell us where we can find you online and
You can
what's
find
happening.
me everywhere. Loyiso Madinga, everywhere. Except even on TikTok, even though I don't know how to use it yet.
Okay.
Loyiso Madinga, Madinga. Yeah. I'm on those things. Find me, follow me,
Don't step
like
over his
everything, and
legs.
don't step over my legs.
Yeah.
Woman.
Oh, shit. Thank you so much,
This was fun.
Loyiso
Thank you.
Madinga,
This
for
was-
being here. We love you. Thank you to Douchebag Steve and Gio and Craig
Hey.
and Mike Albanese, the best in the biz.
What a man.
Hottest producer
What a mighty
in
good
town.
man.
What? Ow, I just touched him and burnt my finger. We'll be back next week when Trump is in jail or whatever. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.